but I would also probably guess that she's suffered great loss in her life. Okay, and more than once, and all kinds of loss.
All kinds of loss.
And it's probably music that brought you healing and comfort and solace.
It had helped me a lot,
It
yes.
helped you through. Okay. Now there's some areas that she has a sense of capability in her past, some familiarity. She understands music, she can read music, she has a beautiful singing voice, but she does not have the capability of memorizing music, memorizing the words, and she does not have the capability to really quite figure out all the technology. She's working really hard at that right now. So she has a little gap in her sense of what she's able to do and not able to do. So as working with her, there's two places I'm going to circle that I'm really going to be paying attention. And that's identity and capabilities. But this also, she has a very high value on helping people. She has a high value on expression and creativity. She has a high value on learning. Could you get that from the things that she was talking about? So, because I know about these things, based on what our little brief conversation, which has been about a little more than 10 minutes, I know that these are very strong values, but she has some beliefs about herself and her ability to do this that's stopping her. And there's a sense coming back to this lost and loss. I haven't heard her talk about who believes in her or knowing how to experience that, because it's kind of like there's a standpoint of she's wanting to express out and Spirit is directing her. But my next question and idea that's coming up is, who believes in you? Who's been encouraging you? And I want to get some information around that. Then on behaviors, what she's been doing, she's been working really hard. She's studying at school. She's trying to learn and prepare herself, but there's a kind of sense that she hasn't chosen the right things. So we're going to take a look at that. And for the most part, I'm not really getting any clues about her environment right now. There's an overall feeling of you have to do it all by yourself, because she's not getting, I know a friend, but I know someone who does this, but. So that you have some belief that you have to do it all by yourself, that you don't know enough, but there's not enough money. These are words that are used more than once, and these words are lost. So these are the feeling words that keep popping up over and over. So I'm paying attention to those. I'm also tracking my own feeling, and now what I'm doing on the negative these are her words. And so right now, as your client, you're my client, coming back to you and after talking to the group, I'd say, looks like you've had a life where you've had to overcome a lot of loss. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, health, because you talked about health. Have you lost your health? Yes. Lost relationships? What else have you lost?
Family members.
Family members.
Close. My son, my father, my husband.
Okay. And then what else have you lost?
Business, money. I lost confidence in myself,
yeah.
From all of the other things that's happened.
Yeah, and that loss of confidence.
And, losing so much in business, you question yourself, let me put it back to me, I question myself about my decisions, and, some of the time the money was never an issue, and it was like, well, of course the money's going to keep coming, of course I'm going to have to continue to have clients and customers, and never really thought too much about not having money.
Okay.
And then, but you can have one big mistake that you can lose tens of thousands in a very quick period of time, so then.
When we're younger, we're a little bouncier. We have more time to correct our mistakes. But I've noticed as I get older, I don't feel like I can afford to make this mistakes and try new things like I could before. Is this something that you go through?
Well, what happened is when my son died, I lost the purpose. It seems like I lost. It seems like before it was always I was creating. I was thinking about, like, in business. Well, then he could be in the business, and I could pass that on to him, and that sort of thing. And then, but after he died, it seemed like, what's the point of trying to do anything? And So I really lost my direction, I lost all drive, I lost all desire to create anything. So a lot of the creativity went away, and before I was always, oh, well, I could do this, and I had all kinds of ideas, and I'd jump out there and do business, and it wasn't a problem. But when he died, a part of me died, you know.
The big reason you were doing a lot of things, that to leave a legacy. So
Yeah.
it'd be like, well, what's the point? I go out and sing and make some people happy, and then they would remember. Maybe they'd have a nice evening. But then, what difference would that make?
Well, after a long period of time, I finally have gotten to a different place about that, and I really feel quite driven to go out and speak about that, because I know other people are in the same situation that I've been in.
Was there a
for
speaker
singing.
that inspired you during that time?
Yes. The church that I was attending at the time, it was on I think like a Sunday night, and I went to the church, and the guy was just doing he had the whole program. So
Right.
he talked and he sang, and he talked and he sang, and I think all the songs I knew but one that I had sang as a child, you know,
Right.
a teenager I'd sing. But his story, that he had the most clear, beautiful voice, and I cried through the whole service. It was because it was just almost an immediate, this is what you're to do. And I still now, I get chills thinking about it, but it was such a dramatic experience, sitting there listening to him and knowing, because I used to have dreams of me being on stage in front of a large group of people, and I would wake up because I was so intense about something I was saying or singing or whatever, and I kept thinking, okay, I'm supposed to go and sing or talk or something, but then when that guy's program, it just was like some download from something. It's like, this is it. And
Do you remember his name?
right this second, I'm having a little trouble remembering it.
You remember his face?
Yes, very clearly. And I've looked him up on the internet not too long ago. I ran across the name again. I looked him up, and he's still out there doing his thing.
So what
It's
if
been
the
10 years,
point would be that if after everything you've gone through, and even though you can't pass it on to your son, I mean, you're not related to that guy that did that sang that song.
No.
And he may never know your name. He probably didn't know you were in the audience. He didn't even know you exist. But you see his face, and that sparked something in you, and that gave you a desire to express that way.
Yes, and
Do you think he has a legacy?
Yes,
Even
well, I don't feel like I don't have a legacy now. I mean, that's where I was for several years, but I was stuck in all this grief and everything. But through some workshops and some personal help, not exactly counseling, but personal experiences in classes like this, I finally have moved to the point where I'm ready to move forward. So I've been moving forward, but when I start going that direction toward this, I back up a lot.
Okay. So go into that backing up feeling. Back up, back up, back up. You better back up. Stop, stop. What? Now, where do you feel that backing up feeling in your body?
Well, I can see myself in 7th grade singing for the high school baccalaureate service
Okay.
in my blue taffeta dress,
Mhm.
pale blue, beige heels, and I forgot my words.
Okay.
And so, it's that kind of
Okay.
experience of how am I going to remember my words? How am I going to know how to